No, well, no. I mean, it presents its own unique challenges. I mean, we just worked on a short for a Little Hollywood Shootout, which was more just kind of a fun thing. But even when you're doing it at that level, there's always challenges. I mean, it was cold. We had to ADR the whole thing because wind was constantly kicking our ass. What's that? Well, we had to basically dub the whole thing over because the wind made it impossible for us to use the actual raw dialogue. And, you know, when you're doing a 48-hour quick turnaround thing, you're up against crazy deadlines. So with in the case of the film that we made, we put the thing together and we didn't even have time to finesse or fine-tune or anything. It's like we've just got to get it in and get it into them. But there's fun things about those challenges as well. It disciplines you. You know, you're forced to get things in by that deadline. You obviously have to act quick on your feet. It's great for problem solving. I mean, I've been on film sets. I've seen a little bit of everything, and it's, you know, when you do quick turnaround filmmaking and no budget filmmaking, it's quite different. Like, everyone is pitching in. You know, we don't even, a lot of times we don't even assign people specific jobs. It's literally everyone is jumping in and helping. But again, it teaches you really, you learn valuable lessons that we hope will prepare people for the future when they get into the real stuff. But it's a lot of fun. I actually co-produced a feature a couple of years ago for Jeff Sanders, actually. We made a movie, shot it in 8 days. We did it for $7,000 or $8,000. And I mean, we're still having, I mean, it's just crazy trying to get that thing out there. You know, you get 100 no's before you get one yes on the festival circuit. So I'm sure you guys have dealt with plenty of that.
Next question.
Do we have any very specific questions for any of the panelists? Raise your hand, please, if you have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Colin, your short was great. I loved it, and I want that end shot. Was that obviously that was probably CGI shot?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did you pull that off, or did you have to pull favors?
We got that for a case of Corona. We did. We got it for a case of Corona. Basically, what we went to a visual effects place that does it. We couldn't afford what their quote was, but someone who worked there was kind enough to say, well, why don't I'm going to hand your request down to my assistant's assistant. So there's basically somebody in there sweeping up at night that wanted to cut his teeth, and this was basically his opportunity with the other two guys from a couple other, that said, yeah, we want to do it. We want to do it. So they stayed extra and were able to work on their boss's computers and equipment. Basically, we got it for a case of Corona. It may have been 2 cases of Corona.
What does that shot mean?
Yeah, the shot at the end when you pull back, basically all those trailers, they're not there. It's all created in a computer. So yeah, it's a visual effect. So basically, we pulled back from the window maybe 10 feet, and then there was nothing there. I forget where we even were. No, we were out on a dirt place, but everything, the mountains, the other trailers, and then they duplicate them, and they give it that impression. And it was an important shot, because if we had it pulled back and it looked like crap, it'd be like, I don't know, they didn't get that shot. It would have been a bit of a drag.
There's one person that does it.
Yeah. So, but that's basically we got it for a case of beer.
It kind of reminded me of the last shot of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Adam made a good comment about getting, a million no's before you get one yes. One thing that I've been kind of talking about with some of the filmmakers, especially this weekend, is that one thing a lot of people forget to do, to include in the budget, is the film festival submission cost. I didn't know if each of you had something to say about how important that is to take into consideration, because it is going to take quite a bit of submissions. So what you all had to say about that.
Yeah, that is a great idea. When you're planning a budget, consider having, and festival prices vary. We set ours super low because we had no idea if anyone would show up. We were like, do people know where Kanab is? Because I didn't. So we set it really low. Some places charge like, I swear I've seen $75 submission fees. Any higher?
I've seen 90.
90? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're submitting to a big festival like that, and like, as a film festival, that is an amazing way to make money, because people don't get their money back.
So I said, you wanna make money in film, don't make a film festival.
We're discovering that it's classic.
Word on the street is that Sundance, when they watch those films, they don't have to watch the whole film. You're paying your money. I think it's some crazy, like they only have to watch 3 minutes of the film.
You wonder how physically, how anybody can watch. I mean, Sundance gets thousands of submissions.
I mean,
There's no way they're
even with hundreds of volunteers.
They're cashing the checks.
I do have.
That's a sad truth.
Yeah, I have a question for you, actually, both of you guys. So, did you put in digital camera shake?
You mean in the trailer?
Yeah.
People pushing on the outside.
Right, okay, but then the camera's kind of going like this. Were they just like reacting to people pushing on the trailer? Or did you stabilize the shot and then put in camera shake?
No, the camera operator would do it, yeah.
Okay.
Have on the handle.
All right. If that doesn't make sense to you, you can actually like apply a script to footage so that it moves around like natural motion. That's what they did in Deadpool. Connie, you had a lot of, you guys will see it tomorrow, it's awesome. A lot of After Effects shots where like the scene is broken up into multiple layers and then there's a parallax effect. So like, the people in the foreground are moving more than the people in the background. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, all right, so it's like...
How'd they do that with
yeah, I mean, you Photoshop it and then you just spread the layers out in After Effects. It's not like really hard. It always looks good if you do it right.
Are you talking about in the photos?
Yes, with the photos. Yeah. Whose idea was that and what did you spend on that? I'm going to pass it.
That was Jim Aikman's idea, and it was beautiful the way he did it. It's really, really nicely done. It really brings things alive because, for example, on Jeff's climb of Metanoia, the solo climb that he did in 1991. So Metanoia is a route that Jeff did on the Eiger solo in winter without bolts, which means, without that kind of protection. And that's rarely done, and it's a formidable face climb. It's the north face of the Eiger. Yeah, it's the most famous wall in the world for climbing. It's also been referred to as the murder wall, the Mordwand, because a lot of people have died there. Anyway, so he did that climb, and John Krakauer, the New York Times bestselling author who narrates our film, he also was the photographer when Jeff did that climb in 1991. And so all the photos that we have of that climb are from John Krakauer, but all we had are photos. We didn't have any video footage at all. And so we wanted to bring that climb alive, at least somewhat. And so Jim's idea was to bring some animation to it and to have the photos move and to have snow and add things to it, add the elements. And it really, really did a wonderful thing to the film. We didn't even know what that was, so we were pretty excited.
Oh, what you have?
And honestly, to tell you what it cost, I don't remember, but again, we were blessed with somebody who really wanted to be part of this, like our director. I mean, we got a hell of a bargain in our director, but he felt that this would make his leap into he'd been making climbing films, but this is so beyond a climbing film, and so he did it for us so we could afford it. And the animator guy, the same. There were almost everybody. I mean, the music people, everybody gave us their very best price or donated their music or their skills or we were really lucky. And so our budget was probably a third of what it should have been.
I have another question for you. Anybody else?
We've got time for maybe one more question, but go ahead, Jeff.
Sweet, okay. Sorry. Okay, didn't drop it. I'm so cold, I didn't even help with that.
It is freezing in here. They're like, it might be chilly. It's April though. It'll be fine. No, they were wrong. All right, so there's a point in the movie, so Jeff goes to Tibet and he hears this Tibetan singing bowl, which like resonates a certain vibration, and it's called like the miracle vibration, like 746 megahertz, gigahertz, I don't know. But it's a tone. And then he said I think it's on the Eiger, he dug a snow cave and went to sleep and heard that same tone inside the mountain. When I saw that, my first thought was that he died. Like he spent a short amount of time dead, woke up the next morning, and then just continued his life. Did he ever go into detail about what that experience was like? Could you fill us in?
So when Jeff got to that snow cave, he was quite hypothermic. He was pretty much out of food. He was cold, and he'd been on the wall. That's probably day 8, and so he found a place where he could dig a snow cave. Got in there, and there's spin drift, so it's snowing. And what happens with the snow, and is it as it falls, it also knocks other little frozen pellets, okay, so it's spin drift is what they call it, and it's showering down, and it's mesmerizing to him. And he basically goes into an altered state, and he doesn't know how long he was in that altered state. You know, it could have been minutes, could have been hours, he really doesn't know. And he feels like he went to kind of out into the universe. I mean, he left his body, had an out-of-body experience, went out into the universe, and felt like the way he describes it in some articles that he's written, is he saw how the universe works and his place in it, and how he could go back and be a better father to his daughter than he had understood before. And he came back into his body just as cold, and but knew that he needed to get out of there. So the next morning when it cleared, he got out, and then
500 feet, right, without ropes?
I think it's 150 feet that he drops the ropes.
Same difference if you're that high.
Yeah. Do you want me to just tell that story? What happens? What happens?
Sure.
So what happens is when you climb, you climb to a certain point. You've got a rope and you've got protection. You pound in your protection, and so if you fall, you'll only fall as far as that last piece of protection will catch you. Well, as he's climbing up, there's no place to put in any protection. It's either solid ice or snow or rock. So he can't put any protection, and he's trying to figure it out. And there's a storm coming, so he's under the gun, he's got to get going, and so his option is to go back down and then go up another way to see if he can place protection. And John Krakauer radios him on the radio and says, Jeff, if you drop your rope, can you get to the top, and we'll come pick you up in a helicopter. And Jeff had to think about that, because what that means is it's all about style. Alpine style is fast and light and quick. You don't leave your junk. You don't leave anything on the mountain. And he was about to have to leave his entire pack. It's because his pack is now 150 feet below him. And so if he leaves it, if he drops the rope, so he unties the rope, climbs, free solos to the top. There's a new movie out called Free Solo. So it tells you something about what he was doing. And then the helicopter comes, and John's in the helicopter with the guy, and they drop the big hook you've seen in so many rescues, and it goes by, and Jeff misses it the first time, comes back, grabs it the second time, and they hook him up, and they basically fly him down to Kleine Scheidegg and drop him off. And John Krakauer tells this story himself, and he's quite a storyteller anyway. So he actually tells the story in the movie. It's pretty fun. So yeah.
Thank
It's a great movie, you gotta come.
Yes, please.
If I may, I just wanted to add just 2 things before we let everybody go. For you guys, anybody, any student filmmakers or filmmakers of any kind, making movies is hard. Don't quit. Don't do it. Always remember, look, it's like anytime you go to see a movie and you're with somebody and they say, oh, that movie, that sucked. Remind yourself if you say that, well, yeah, but you didn't make that. Someone else made that. And anytime somebody maybe doesn't like your movie, it's like, well, then you make one better. And that little speck of light off in the distance, don't stop until you're standing in it. Making movies is hard. You want easy? Make a sandwich. Right?
Thank you. Let's hear it for all of our panelists, everybody. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right, we do have a little bit more going on this evening. So before I go ahead and tell you what else we've got going on tomorrow, I'm going to invite somebody very important to the festival up to the stage really quick. Britt, please come up to the stage. This is Britt Roth. This is Jeff's better half. She's going to go ahead and tell you about what else we're doing tonight and then a little bit about tomorrow.
Awesome. So if you were with us this morning, we had an amazing hike. 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. on Squaw Trail, and at 1 o'clock we had a movie driving tour, and those were like wildly successful. We have totally grossly underestimated all of this awesome participation, so thank you so much. So tomorrow morning we do have yoga in the park, right back here. It's a beautiful park.
Dance studio.
What?
Dance studio.
We're going dance studio?
It's going to be cold and wet.
Cold and wet.
Nobody wants that. So
Okay, so okay, cool. So it'll be on the Bedrock Dance Studio, which in this town, everything's right around the corner. So literally, it is right around the corner. I will email everyone who signed up for that, and I can also put it on our Facebook page so you know.
We hear you good.
yeah, we can hear your beautiful voice, Rick. Keep talking.
Okay. So Red Rock Dance Studio, I'll email that and I'll put it on our Facebook page. Anyone who decides that they want to join, and Dana Balafas, who's also on the committee, she is teaching yoga and it's beautiful. She's awesome. Tonight, though, the rain has stopped. It is cold, but the fire pits are on in the front of Perry, and we do have marshmallows and roasting sticks if you want to join us. It's really cozy. And just a little chatting, some of the students, and hopefully some of the panel will stay with us. Just a little bit more hanging out with y'all if you would like to. And then we've got another super fun day tomorrow if you are coming. 2 to 6, we have our open category, 2 feature-length films plus a slew of other shorts. Going to be an awesome evening. We have a dinner break, and then at 7:30 we get rolling with our awards, and we will replay the winners as well if you haven't had a chance to see them, which is cool. And then 8 o'clock, thank you. And then we have an after party. You all are invited, and of course we're gonna end with super awesome style. We have a shuttle that will take you to Juniper Ridge because it's in Arizona, which is really cool. It's only like 6 miles from here. And we have live music by John Stone. We have complimentary food and $3 off of drinks, which is really cool. So it'll be a fun time. You'll show up, there'll be music, there'll be food ready to go, and we'll just kind of party hardy into late into the night until you want to, because we don't want it to end because it's so good. It's so good. So thank you guys so much. I know it's cold, but we're trying to make it a super awesome experience. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Let's hear it one more time for Britt. So Britt and Dana and Mike Lee and Jeff and myself, we nicknamed ourselves the Mighty Five because we got cocky there towards the end. But I want to thank all of them individually and everybody else who's here tonight. Thank you for being at our first year festival. Thank you so much.